I want to create my own manga, and in order to one day create one, I gotta improve my drawing skills and speed. Alright, it's time to set a benchmark. What can I do within 2 hours? I sketched it, inked it, and finally shaded them. And to be honest, it turned out way better than I thought it would be. But that doesn't mean I wasn't struggling. I was mad struggling. That is not Naruto, that is Sean. Look at him. Is that Naruto? Anya does look pretty cool though. But overall, this could have been a lot better. Alright, so right now I'm drawing some poses, and I've noticed that I'm slow at drawing. I'm moving at like a good 40 minutes per pose, since I'm focusing on the 3D a lot. But I like to cut that time down by half. And so far, I've created some good stuff. But there is one thing I regret creating. For some reason, I decided to put Patrick's face on a human body. The results are an abomination. But hey, look at the structure of the legs. Damn. Oh, I forgot about the shading, the high detail. That's some nice stuff right there. But alright guys, here's everything I've drawn today. And I feel like drawing poses has already become easier. But there's something that happened that I did not expect. At the end of day 2, I actually started taking like 20 minutes to draw a pose. So maybe I set a goal that was too easy? Except I was purposely picking easy poses. Now we're about to get to the hard stuff. Action poses. And yeah, I can feel my brain melting. Adderall, please, someone send me some Adderall, I need it. But the hardest part by far are the ribs and pelvis. It was so challenging that I had to stop working on this character. Spending more than an hour on it would have been counterproductive, so I decided to just move on. The problem here isn't really with how it looks, it's more so I don't understand necessarily how I got here in the first place. On average, it takes me about 30 to 40 minutes to draw these poses, since I'm really trying to understand the 3D on each pose. So I'm interested to see if I got better at the end of the 25 days, or if I regress. That's a total possibility. But on a good note, these are looking pretty damn good. But I'm gonna come back to this, because right now I want to work on shading, and shading is actually my second goal for this video. I just want to be cracked out at shading. However, what I'm doing right now is harder than drawing the torso. I ain't even start shading yet. I'm still on the hair. The hair is so hard. I had to redo the hair not once, not twice, but 3 times. But gladly, after being frustrated for a long time, I decided to take a break, and when I came back, I got even more frustrated with it. But gladly, after the second break, I realized, hey, I'm rushing. So after focusing up and slowing down, I feel like I was able to get a better understanding of the hair. So then I was finally able to shade it. And at the very end, I feel like I got something pretty cool. Not gonna lie, while shading it, I did hate it. That's why I didn't really go crazy on the shading like I planned. But I think it's grown on me now that I come back the next day. Not gonna lie, it kind of looks like she was forced to watch seasonal slice of life anime, but nevertheless, still cool. Alright, so now I'm gonna try to shade something crazy. And the first thing I started thinking about is, who do I want to use as a reference? And I've looked at loads of different artists for way longer than I should have. But my favorite artist is definitely Yurei. So I'm gonna do a study real quick, or not real quick, because this is way above my skill level. And right now I'm giving her blue hair and a different skin color, just so I can't color pick. I think I learned a little bit more by doing that, and this way I get a better understanding on why she used the color she did. But man guys, I was setting up the color palette, right? And I was just wowed, because she uses over 10 different colors for the hair alone. That's crazy. Alright, so right now I'm shading, and I think it's been looking pretty good. But when I started adding the lights, that's when I was like, oh damn, this is amazing. Wow, look at this. Look at the shine. I did not think it was gonna turn out like this. The hair is just so shiny. It looks awesome. But you know what? It's time to do it again. It's time to do it again. I don't want to forget how to do this. I'm gonna try this and do it myself this time. But guys, I already have a problem. For some reason, no matter what I did, I could not get the face the way I wanted it to look. It technically wasn't a bad face, but like, I don't know, man. I just did not like it. It wasn't what I was going for. So I wasn't just gonna settle on it. But that was a lie though. I called it quits. And this is a problem I've been having with my faces for a while. Like, I have a problem making my faces look the way I intended them to look. So I went to go work on my faces for a bit more, because I feel like half the time the structure breaks them. So that's why I'm in the lab right now, just cooking it up. And yo, I think we got some things that look pretty cool. I think I did a pretty good job here. Except it didn't end there. I could not stop myself from working on the potato face. I still hate this face, but no matter what I did, I couldn't fix it. So you know what? Hopefully if I'm better a week from now, I'll be able to come back, but I just gotta move on. Also, before switching, I decided to draw a fist. It was very fitting. Alright guys, I'm finished shading, and to be honest, it turned out pretty well. The hair is looking good. Also, I don't know how I did it, but her hair kind of looks like metal. I'm gonna keep it a buck though. I still hate this face. Her face is shaped like a potato, but at the very least, I'd say I've gotten much better at shading hair. Alright, so now it's time for me to go to bed. Except, unlike a good little mammal, I decided to stay up even longer and work on my faces. So on my little journey, I found this random reference, which I soon realized, oh wait, I've seen this robot girl before. She was in a movie. But there was something I thought was was interesting. Why did her face look so realistic? It feels realistic anime. So I came up with this idea. Why don't I erase the features one by one to see what specifically is giving me this realistic feeling? At first I thought it was the hair and how her hair strands are so thin, but when I erased the hair, it still felt realistic. So that's when I realized that the eyes play a huge part as well. Also, here's another example of something where I'd say it's like anime, but I'd say this one's like damn nearly realistic. But yeah, I thought it was really interesting, so I just wanted to take a look at it. Alright guys, so I finally made it back to true hell. Drawing action poses. Anatomy just truly feels like an endless journey. I don't think I've ever drawn a character and be like, oh yeah, I've done something like this before. No, never. To me, it feels like I'm damn nearly starting from ground zero every time. Like guys, this pose took 2 hours to draw. I can't even speak. But the problem is, I don't necessarily even know how I fixed it. It's just that I ended up playing around with it for so long that it ended up turning out decent. But with that said, I do still have some favorites. Like this one, and also, I mean, like almost half of them, bro. I like a lot of them. It's just that it was literally hell to draw some of them. And for no particular reason, this one is also my favorite. Alright, so next I wanted to learn from another one of my favorite artists, Jada Arts. And at first, this was supposed to be a color study, but it quickly turned into an everything study. And I also started color picking because I don't know how she got the color so dark. I've never had the shade be this dark. And I can't tell if I'm hitting myself with a placebo, but it feels like my face is half black, half white. I really don't know if it's a placebo. It just could look like that way to me since I'm not used to having the light be so dark. So I brightened it up. I think it looks pretty good now. I was a little afraid to go as dark as Jada did. I think there might be something I'm missing, like color fundamental wise, because I was literally color picking to see how the colors work together, but I think I even messed that up. I don't know how that happened. Also, her expression looks like she kind of doesn't want to take a picture. I thought that was pretty funny as well. I don't even think Scooby-Doo could have unveiled the magic behind this painting. It's just too majestical, but I think I'll definitely come back to study it. Today I've been watching a lot of color theory videos because I thought I definitely needed to watch some more after the Jada study. Alright, so with this painting, I'm gonna try and get as many different colors and values in there as I can. I'm just gonna be purely pushing the colors as far as I think I can go. I added multiple shadows, multiple lights, some random lights, even darker shadows, but then boom, I got something really nice. And I think I surprised myself here. But alright guys, it's time for me to go to bed. But before I did, I drew something random. And I'm gonna give you guys 5 seconds to guess what it is. To be honest, it's one-on-one. It's a one-on-one copy. Alright, I'm about to see what it is. And it's a Yoshi. I drew this without looking. Let me see how good I did. Hey, this is a one-on-one copy. Hold up. That's crazy. Alright, something I randomly got interested in today was how to fully render a face. And I started thinking, what are you, crazy? Trying to kill yourself? But the other part of me is like, hey, let's try it. Let's go, bro. Let's go. This looks terrifying. I had to stop halfway through, not even out of frustration, but at the very least, I'm glad I tried it. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the trenches where the true leveling up happens. In here, I'm still picking poses where I had to push myself, but my main focus is solely on the torso. If I can get a good understanding on that, I will be golden. Currently, I am able to fix the torso, but it's still kind of a struggle. It takes like 40 minutes of just full focusing on trying to make it better, trying to understand why it's broken and stuff, but we will be able to draw crazy angle characters. But alright, what have I drawn today? Well, I feel like I've drawn some interesting poses, and also I drew this girl that kind of looks like Power. Also, I have another version that I thought turned out pretty cool as well. To be honest, it was just me accidentally paint bucketing the whole thing, and then at the end of the day, I was like, hey, why don't I shade one of these? Because why not? I was too lazy to actually draw clothes for her, so I put a onesie on her. Is that a onesie? I don't know. I'm pretty sure it is though. But yeah, I feel like this looks pretty cool. Strangely though, it's giving me some pixel arty vibe. I'm not sure if it's because it's actually a little bit pixelated or if it's that I ended up with a pixel art color palette. Low-key, I think this would have looked cooler naked. I'm not a fan of the onesie. It still looks really cool. Would have looked cooler naked. Actually, in fact, everything looks cooler naked. Alright, anyways, the plan is simple. I want to learn how to shade skin better. So I grabbed the pose I drew yesterday, gave it cleaner line art, and started shading it. But today, my goal wasn't just to shade skin. It was to shade 3D skin. Ooh. Alright guys, after a measly 5 hours of messing around with the shading and watching tutorials, I think I was able to make something pretty cool. And it took 5 hours because I've never tried to make the legs 3D. It is very easy to get all sloppy. But yeah, good night. It's been freaking 5 hours. I gotta get to bed. Oh my god. Alright guys, it's early in the morning. I'd like to better my shading while I still have all my brain cells. So I'm gonna use this same girl again. I'm too lazy to line art something else. But also, I feel like this has a lot more potential. I'm gonna spice this joint up. But one thing I will do is fix her body because I noticed that her body's broken, which is yet another example on why I need to work on the torso. But also another example that I'm approving. Oh my god. Alright, I'm shading, but today I've come with new knowledge. I never realized I didn't fully understand black and white values, but after watching too many videos on color and values, I feel like I have a much higher understanding. And you know what the funny thing is about watching art tutorials? When it comes to drawing tutorials, Not gonna lie, sometimes I feel like I gotta avoid bad advice. But when it comes to watching shading videos, I feel like all I have to do is simply watch it and I just see a huge jump on my skills. I already know I'm about to create something cool. Hopefully I don't jinx myself. Alright guys, it's been 2 hours now. And honestly, I still ended up surprising myself. From the shading, the colors. Bro, everything looks so good. I genuinely surprised myself here. And basically the whole time, I was just making sure I wasn't gonna get all sloppy with the shading. I think that's what helped me out the most. By the way, I be posting my pieces on Twitter, so if you want to check that out, the link is in the description. Hopefully you don't scroll down too far though. My Twitter's a little bit cursed. Alright guys, after shading this, I decided to create a more cell shaded version, and I think it turned out really well. The goal here was to create as much contrast as possible while keeping it simple. But yeah, I like this too. But anyways, before I went to bed, I saw this Pokemon and I was like, yo, he looks weird. Let's draw him. And yeah, I drew him pretty swaggy, looking pretty swaggy. Look at his cigarette. And here we have Yoshi's step cousin or something. I don't know, bro. Yoshi's cousin looks like she was breeded Alabama style. At the end of the day, if I wanted to draw at least one face, I feel like the little bit of pink on the lips it just makes it look so much better. I don't know why. Or I know why. Every little detail adds up. That's why. I will say though, her eyelashes look like antlers. She could tear a hole into a car window with those. But at the very least, I still think we ended the night on a good note. Alright guys, today's face day. Because faces are just the most important thing you can draw. And right now I'm going for hard angles. Like right now I'm drawing this face with the cameras below her. Also I drew this one with the camera slightly above her. But yeah, I think I ended today with some really cool looking faces. I think I did a good job here. Alright, so next I wanted to run an experiment. I wanted to see just how much changing one feature of the face changes the overall vibe I got from the character. But instead of drawing, I instead decided to do some breakdowns on my favorite faces to see if I can find anything interesting. And something I did was trace over Jolene's face and I changed her facial features, which is kind of like what I did before. But also, this whole time, I haven't touched the face shape at all, or the hair, which just further proves that the eyes control everything. Alright, so right now I'm working on more faces, but I'm also working on their expressions as well. And I'm trying to make something that's like anime, but more realistic. I don't want my characters looking like they'd get bullied. Like whenever I see a character with a tiny chin, I just feel like they get one shot. Like say you're an anime character, right? And you're fighting Cardi B. She sends a right hook to your chin. You're dying. You're dying. It's the game. Anyways, I was planning on making my faces realistic, but I forgot because the faces are looking so good. Oh my god. Hey, not gonna lie though, right here, I messed up on the arm so bad. But hey, it has good vibes. This might be power, by the way. Alright, so this face over here looks like she's fighting through the rain. This one low-key looks like the Poggy's face. To be honest, I like every single one of them. My favorite is definitely this girl because you can just like feel her movement. It feels alive. And lastly, I have some cleaner sketches over here on this page, and I think they look cool as well. But yeah, overall, I think I've gotten at least a bit better at drawing characters correctly. But I'm not gonna lie, these poses are the easy ones. While over here, you can literally see the stress in the lines. By the way, if that felt like a time skip or something, that's because it's day 17 now. There is now 8 days left, so I gotta pick up the pace. Today I spent a lot of times watching art tutorials, but most importantly, I am disabling the undo button. I'm going full maniac. I am too addicted to the undo button. I'll show real time of me spamming the undo button, but a thing to note is that I do this for hours and hours. This is only a fraction, and as you could assume, I'd be so much faster if I didn't do this. But it's an addiction, and I cannot stop. But why did I take such a 180? Well, I was watching a YouTube video about a book called Atomic Habits, and it simply says create good cues and eliminate bad cues. For example, if you set out your gym clothes, you're more likely to exercise. If the fridge is on the same floor as you, you're more likely to eat more. But guys, this is where it gets a little weird. I did a little thinking to find what is my bad cue? What leads me to forget to stop spamming the Control Z? And after a while, I realized it only happens when I'm super focused. So my bad cue is literally focusing. So obviously this is something I can't fix. So I've just made it impossible for the problem to exist. And if this doesn't solve my problems, then nothing will. I run out of ideas. This is the last idea I have. Alright, so after a bit of a warm-up, I think I got slightly used to not using undo. And it's just so scary to have no undo. Right now I'm drawing a face, and look at that circle. Does it look like I even tried? See guys, I'm too reliant on. This is actually gonna be really good. If I stop using undo, I might be able to draw like 10 times faster. Also, I just realized I left a tool called transform on, but that's fine because I put the eraser at a low opacity. It's at 10. It's at 10 opacity. So the struggle is already enough. If I would erase something, I had to erase it like 10 times. But alright, after a good 50 minutes, I've managed to complete a drawing. This actually looks pretty good. You can see that it looks slightly traumatized and rough, but it's not too bad. Also, I did want to mention while I was minding my own business, deep into a deep focus. An alarm went off and scared the living shit out of me. Terrified me. I cannot remember the last time my alarm has scared me, but I thought this was cool to mention because it just shows how deep into thought I was. And then here's one more that I drew. This time I drew Nobara. But also I love how clean like the playback is. There's no like random zooming in. And you can see that like I'm using the transform tool, but compared to the undo button, bro, I had to be tapping the transform tool 100 folds less. Not even an exaggeration. Oh, so I thought this one turned out amazing. I might actually shade it later. All right, the last few days have been strange. For one, I drew this alien. Here I drew this pose where I feel like the sketchiness made it really cool. I mean, we got some decently weird stuff over here. No, God, the worst one of them all. Someone falling into the worst sauce ever. Not ketchup, not mustard, but mayo. Anyone who likes mayo is a freak of nature. Side tangent. If half the people in the world don't like mayo, why is mayo an auto option on burgers? That should be illegal. All right, anyways, I drew Jolene, and then I drew this one where I clearly had a rough time. And then I drew Jolene again because she's just a goat. But you may be wondering how my undo addiction's been going. Well, I am 5 days sober, so I take that as a huge dub. Except, I've been having withdrawals. I couldn't spam the undo button, so I started spamming the eraser. There is no escape. Someone please save me. Hey, not gonna lie though, drawing with no undo is actually more fun than drawing with undo on, which I wasn't expecting. I was expecting it to be like hell, just gruesome. But with that said, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna die from withdrawal symptoms. I don't think this worked at all. All it did was make me become an erase addict. So if I'm gonna be addicted to something, it might as well be undo. Maybe what I really need is hard drugs, like cocaine dipped in liquid nicotine. Maybe that will get me to slow down. Actually though, I changed my mind a little bit. There's definitely something here. I don't know what it is. It's something about how I'm just ultra focused while I have no undo. I would not be surprised if next video I take this even farther and do no eraser, no undo, and I might switch to using references only after I finish a drawing. It'll basically be like solving a problem and then checking my work. So yeah, we'll see. But alright, here's some of the faces I drew today. They're looking pretty good. I especially like the expression in the middle, and this one was my favorite from today. I just like the vibe. And yeah, this is what I finished the day off with. But alright guys, I don't know if you can hear it, but the trenches are calling me. I worked on hair, windy hair, but the biggest thing I drew today were these poses, and my main goal here was to tackle the ribs and pelvis. It's been over 20 days, but it is still such a struggle. But what exactly is my problem? Well, I feel like the hardest part about the torso is the twisting and overlapping combined. Any pose with both of those is a spell for disaster. But surprisingly guys, these poses are starting to look a little bit less abnormal. Like the ones at the start of the video, you can kind of see that something is a bit off with them, but I think I've gotten a bit better at fixing them. Except I'm fixing it, but half the times I don't really know how I fixed it. I think it's that problem where like if I have the reference, it becomes easier to not think for myself and blindly copy some parts. Also, last time I said I spent about 30 to 40 minutes per pose. Well, now it's definitely longer since I've been trying to fix this torso problem. But sadly, I've run out of time to complete my goal of drawing characters easier, so I'll just have to complete it in a different video. All right, enough is enough. I want to shade something, and it's day 25. So if I'm gonna shade something, it's gotta be a banger. And we've seen a lot of eye bleeders, some great shading, and some beautiful masterpieces. So now it's time to see what have I learned. So today I'm shading one of my favorite faces from the other day, and I just really like it because it looks like the Poggy's face. All right, I'm shading right now. I'm gonna try to capture every plane of the face. I'm gonna get the sun's yellows, shades underneath the hair, add some dark parts around the hair, gloss around the eye, and now we have it, the fully shaded Poggy's face. Something about seeing this expression shaded makes the expression even better, and I think I did an awesome job here. However, this was just a warm-up, and here I present you Nobara, the brash yet confident princess. And guys, I think I did really good with this one. I have surprised myself, and shading wise I think I've improved a lot. And guys, for the next video I'm going full psychopath. I'm gonna try it. No undo, no eraser, no nothing. Drawing wise, something needs to change. It's gonna be hard, but I will find that something. With that said, make sure to check out my Twitter art before Elon Musk destroys it. Thanks for watching the video and have a great day.